It's Monday. It's Monday evening, early evening. Hello, everyone. So I have been, no, I've not been tasked. I joined a 30-day challenge to go live on video every day and introduce myself and what it is that I'm doing to help spread the word about what I'm doing and to get in front of the people who may need my information, who will benefit from it, who know other people who could benefit from it. So, my name is Catherine Beasley. I am the founder of the Caregivers Connect, and I'm live on two screens, so please bear with me looking up and down. Um, I'm the founder of the Caregivers Connect, where we help women of color who are caregivers for loved ones with dementia, disease, to better navigate the caregiving experience, to help them by educating them, by teaching them to advocate for themselves and to care for themselves. And so I wanted to make sure that I did this in order to help others who are in the throes of what it is that I recently experienced, or who may be preparing to be a caregiver, who maybe aren't preparing to, but may end up being caregivers and want this information. So I am here live to introduce myself, to introduce what it is that we do. My mission is to help anyone get up that curve faster than what I did. I wholeheartedly feel like if I had looked for the information, but also if I had information sooner, then the caregiving experience that I recently had would have gone a little bit more smoothly. I would have been gentler and kinder to myself, and even to my mom. I was great with my mom. I do know that, but um, I took the time to go and get a certification in dementia training. So I'm a certified dementia practitioner because as I was caring for my mom full time as an almost mostly care provider for her, I was thrown into it, right? I didn't know really what Alzheimer's was, what it did to people, how they acted, and what was natural for someone with dementia, the behaviors that they had that I wasn't really sure of, and maybe took a different way. Just knowing more about the disease now than when I first became the caregiver for my mom full time. It would have helped me so much. And I'm sure that people they don't have time really, right? I barely had the time to go and get a certification. So having learned this information, having had an opportunity to apply it to my experience with my mom, once I did learn it, it just really just it was a 180 shift in the way that our relationship was, or at least the way I thought about my caregiving relationship with my mother. It made it a whole lot easier for me. It didn't make it easy. It made it easier for me. To care for my mom and to recognize, that these are just signs and symptoms of the disease, and what I could do to help alleviate her agitation or her anxiety, what I could do to help myself, right? A lot of it is mindset. So I had to take the time to reframe lots of things for myself in order to really sit in the caregiving role and be able to give her the care and give myself the grace to really do this well. And I have to say, I think I did a good job of it. I have to remind myself of that sometimes, because I do find myself, especially with the things that I continue to learn about Alzheimer's disease, and the caregiving for people with Alzheimer's, I can remember a lot of things that I could have done differently with my mom. And so, and then I have to stop and just appreciate what it was that I did. And so I am going to be going live every day to share some information with you all. Things that may help you, may help someone that you know. So please do take the time to share this information, to like these posts, to to invite people to come into my world and engage with me, ask questions, and I can answer them for you, because this is something that I continue to study. And again, I want to really be in a position to help other people get up that learning curve faster, so that this caregiving experience that we all may end up going through isn't one that takes us out, right? Because I can tell you, it almost, I mean, not literally, but it felt like it was taking me out too, right? And the fact that caregivers tend to have ill health and sometimes even pass sooner than the people they're caring for, is it's a real thing. So I really want to just open up this space, especially for women of color who are historically bound to have different experiences with the hospital systems and getting care for themselves, yet alone for someone else. For people of color in general who may feel like, they have to just take the word of an expert, the doctors and nurses, whomever, and not push back and ask the questions that they need to ask to get the answers that they need to have, the questions that they need to have answered, and the care for your loved one that they need to receive, right? One of the things that's key to know about this disease is that, like neurology and cardiology, and right, just surgeons who go to school forever and a day to learn their craft, caring for elderly people in general, right? Gerontology, that is a specialty that not every doctor has, right? They don't all have certifications that allow them to know how to identify and diagnose Alzheimer's correctly, what to do with those patients, how to support the loved ones and the patients themselves. And so you want to make sure that you stay tuned, because I'm going to be sharing some of that information and ways that we can work together to help you in your personal situations, if you are in fact looking for someone to walk you through or hold your hand through this process. I have a Facebook community that is called the Caregivers Connect, so you can look for that group on Facebook. I put the link in my bio on Instagram there. If you or someone you know needs that support and are preparing to be a caregiver or are a caregiver and just would like to be in a space with like-minded people, go ahead and join us, please, and share this information with your friends. Again, hey, Raj, and my good friends that have been chiming in. Hey, Arnell and Faith, I appreciate you guys for getting on. This is not fun at all, but it's something that I am prepared to do. Because I really want to get this information out there. It has been really a passion of mine and is now something that I'm doing to honor my mother by helping other people to become the best caregivers that they can be and to get their loved ones the best care that they can possibly get for them. And the last thing that I'll say before I hop off of here is that I put a post on my Facebook, which is my name, Catherine Beasley. So please go ahead there and check it out. And it was about grief groceries. A friend of mine, Angela Black, actually had a post that she shared from someone else that talked about grief groceries being given to those who are experiencing grief and may have gone through something traumatic fairly recently, and how it's just so helpful to take something off of their plate, right? I can tell you, for me, I wasn't cooking, had no desire to cook, barely ate, and if I did, I would go get some cereal and go to sleep, right? So I wasn't really concerned about eating. I wasn't taking the time to go into the kitchen to care for, getting myself something to eat, or anyone else in the household pour them. And so having people who took the time to bring us food or sent us food, or my good coworkers who all got together and sent me a gift card to DoorDash to have food delivered from DoorDash whenever I needed it. It was really a huge burden lifted off of me. It was something that helped me to take care of myself, and those of us in the home. And it was great because it didn't involve me having to say what I needed. Um, Not the way to be, for myself at least. But I have a hard time asking for help very often. And as such, I tend to you say, "Hey, how can I help you?" And I'm say, "Thank you very much. That's very kind of you." And oh, I'm good, right? I'm not good, but I'd say I'm good because I didn't know how to accept the help. I also didn't know what to ask for. What's the protocol? What is okay to ask for when someone's offering to assist you, right? And so I loved and still do love and appreciate the fact that there were so many people who reached out to offer me assistance and asked me what it is that I needed. But I can be honest and say that it would have been a lot easier for me to accept help if you just did something, right? If you know me, or if you know something that might be needed, and sometimes you just maybe didn't know, but if you know the person that you're going to help, it would be much easier for them and yourselves, if you really want to help, to just do certain things instead of asking them, because I completely just shut down certain things, right? And anything that I didn't have to think about, I wouldn't think about. Anything I didn't have to take care of wouldn't get done. And so having to decide, oh, I could use help with this, let me go ahead and tell such and such to help me with this, like that just wasn't on my list of things to do. In which case, sometimes some of those things didn't get done. It wasn't life changing, right? It didn't end the world, but it was something that probably would have been more comforting for me had I had um, the forethought or presence to say, "Hey, can you help me with this?" And so I really appreciated that post because it framed well something that I was thinking about in being sure to just put out there, right? People who are going through grief, whether it's because a loved one has passed or because the loved one is experiencing something. Like even for me, as I mentioned in my post, um, I think that I am dealing with my mother's death uh, better than I thought I would, simply because I was grieving her while she was still here. Because of the Alzheimer's disease, she part most of the time didn't know who I was. She called me someone else who she was familiar with, in which case she was comfortable being around me, but she did not recognize me to be her daughter for most of the time. I'd say close to 80% of the time. Every now and again she'd say something that let me know that she knew who I was. But for the most part, she always thought that I was one of her childhood friends. So it was good because she was comfortable with me and wasn't afraid to be with me. But as her daughter, it was painful at first, and not so fun even throughout, to have my mom not recognize me, even though I was here all day every day with her, 24/7 caregiver for her, right? um, so there was a piece of me that had to get over that hurt and sadness, even for my mom not recognizing me. And you never fully get over it, but you're better able to deal with it, just because you know it's just the disease. But I was grieving my mom before she passed. So that in turn allowed the passing to be less traumatizing for me, I guess is the words I'm looking for. And so before my mom passed away, people were asking what they could do for me, and the food being brought over, or someone just coming and sitting with me and hanging out. Like I wasn't leaving the house, not because I didn't want to see people or be involved with my life, but just it was hard to do so with my mom. And then whenever I had a reprieve, I didn't want to do much of anything really. I just wanted to have a break to myself. So when people just came over and hung out with me and talked with me, it was very helpful too, because it was that reconnection with your friends and family members who would come and visit that really kept you grounded. Like I didn't know how much I was missing interaction with people until they came over, because I enjoy my own company so much that if I'm just by myself, I'm good with that. But when and usually it's an option for me to be like by myself, but when I wasn't in a position to be able to get out as much and do those things, um it wasn't so terrible because I'm used to being home and everything, but it definitely was more I didn't go out more often because of it. And so when people just came over and hung out and I didn't have to think about what I was going through, but was able to just be normal with my friends, it was a big help too. So taking the time to just talk to people on the phone, if you can get them, if they answer the phone, send them a text to let them know you're thinking about them, showing up in or arranging to show up and just be there as a companion. They can't get out, but you can come over. But yes, grief groceries and gift cards to food. And okay, and if you're gonna get the groceries for them, just an FYI, it be pre-made or easy to heat up stuff, things that don't require a lot of effort, because the reason we're not cooking in the first place for ourselves is because we don't want to. We don't have the capacity to really do many things at that point. So, grief groceries is a great idea. Just make it convenient and easy. Gift cards to food services, to particular restaurants, their favorite restaurant, even. Um, but things like that are the things that you can do and do outright for people, and not ask them what they need necessarily, right? Or talk to someone that's closer to them to kind of get a sense of what they need, so that you can just then take care of it, instead of them having to decide what it is they need and then to ask for that thing. Um, because even though we know that you would do it, or for whatever reasons, it's not as easy to ask for that assistance as one might think. So that's my spiel for today. And stay tuned, right? Day one of 30 days of live video is what we are in the midst of. And I look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow. Laters. And now I have to figure out how to turn off all of these different things. So here we go.